From what I understand, this park is 37 acres. So that's what we do in the morning. We walk our dogs 2 miles, 2 laps around here because we live 1 mile east. It's a progression of degradation of the quality of the maintenance in the park. We bought approximately $500 worth of lawn equipment or garden equipment, and we don't even have a yard. But we have a garden, but we trim this, and they sometimes will pick up the debris that we do. Sometimes they don't. They'll sit there for weeks on end.
So you trim it, leave it for them to pick up.
Oh yeah, we don't have we walk over with our garden cart.
Right.
And we could bring it over to the dumpster over there, which oftentimes are being used by other people who illegally dump there. So.
If people are not aware, our Parks Department is responsible for 87 parks, 36 miles of trails, 2,100 acres of open space, and we only have 22 people to maintain that. So it is a challenge to be able to maintain the parks to a standard that we would like. So our 22 park maintenance workers, basically on average, have to deal with 33 football fields a day. That's a lot, considering that it's not just turf. They have to clean the restrooms. They have to pick up the trash. There's vegetation that needs to be attended to. We have playground equipment. There's irrigation, picnic shelters, basketball courts, tennis courts. So there's a ton of different amenities, which is fantastic to have in our community. But maintenance has always been a challenge, and it will continue to be a challenge, just given that we just don't have enough people.
We got tired of it, so we came by that one day and just trimmed the whole freaking thing.
Right, because people couldn't walk on the sidewalk.
Yeah, there's no sidewalk here. So basically we said, hey, we're just going to do it.
Paradise Park is a unique park in the sense that because it has those stormwater retention ponds, vegetation has plentiful access to water. And as you spoke to, the invasive willows are a challenge to manage. And so you can cut it and then suddenly it just seems to sprout overnight. It looks like you haven't done anything. It is something that we take into consideration. We can't obviously, given the amount of acreage of that park and all the other parks that we have to take care of, vegetation management is not something we're able to basically take care of on a frequency that we would like to, because we don't have enough manpower. However, we do try to address it at least twice a year. And then if someone does let us know that we need to address it because it's doing blockage of like a sidewalk, then again, our goal would be to take care of anything that's safety related ASAP.
Last week or so, I've been in contact with the one lady from Clean and Safe, Reno Clean and Safe.
Reno Clean and Safe. Yeah.
So yeah, and hopefully we can work with her in addressing the unsheltered people here and get them help. There's way too much pain in the world right now to help to keep people moving here and there. But they're not doing themselves a favor by leaving all the trash behind and not do anything.
Of the service requests that we get typically deal with, there's the houseless population that might be staying in the park overnight, trash, the vandalism has happened to an area of the park. But it's sort of on par with our other parks as far as the amount of service requests.
And there's a gentleman that is here quite frequently. He's in a wheelchair. I talked to him when we were clearing this triangle over here. I asked him if he ever went to the care facility, and he said, oh, I've been to so many places. But he told me he wasn't real happy with this clearing. But I told him we were doing it for safety purposes for everybody. And then and I don't know if he was telling me the truth, but he told me he got beat up right behind this triangle where it was just so overgrown and nobody helped him. And so I explained to him that this isn't just for people that come here and walk safety, it's also for your safety, because if somebody attacks you over here, then at least people can see what's happening and possibly you can get some help.
We basically have a park maintainer that goes out there every day. And I think the challenge can be perception on the park maintainer went out. It was nice and clean at 10 o'clock in the morning, but by the time someone got there at 2 o'clock, many park users have gone through the park and it looks like our maintainer hasn't been there.
I wrote a letter to my concern to Reno Direct. And the Reno Direct evidently forwarded a message to this gentleman, Matt. And he claims to be the director of parks maintenance.
Okay.
And his spiel was he has 2 supervisors under him, one north and one south. And he realizes that Paradise Park is perhaps one of the worst parks of the 90-some parks that Reno has. But they don't seem to understand that they need more than just one person working it.
Trash cleanup, typically no concerns. We do have issues where, if there's an apartment complex across the street, they will dump all of their stuff into a dumpster. So that's where we would say that, no, that's not an okay thing to do. But if you pick up a bag of trash in the park and it came from the park, then obviously we would welcome someone going ahead and depositing that trash in the appropriate trash can. Vegetation management gets a little bit more challenging in our parks. So if someone were to say you should just rip out all of the vegetation along the shorelines of those storm retention ponds, that creates an issue too, because vegetation is beneficial in the sense that it prevents shoreline erosion. So we have to do a certain balance of what you're going to remove versus trim. We are looking to master plan Paradise Park in the near future. And part of our scope of work is taking a look at what we can do with the vegetation management to make it so that we have better sight lines and visibility.
They do need a surge of workers here and get this thing under control.
Our team is really, truly, I'm proud of the work that they're able to do, given the overwhelming challenge that it is to maintain all of our parks. We truly are doing the best we can with what we have. And as we had mentioned earlier, it feels like sometimes it can be a cycle where you just keep doing it over and over again. And you know that, yep, it's clean. And 10 minutes later, you've got to clean it again. But I just give so much credit to our dedicated professionals and knowing that, yes, I'm going to continue to have to do this every day. This is my job, because at the end of the day, the goal is a clean and safe facility.
We use discretion in chopping off or lopping off branches and whatnot. And, if we have destroyed vegetation, somebody has to tell us, all right? And city workers should say, hey, don't do this because you're wrecking the park. But nobody cares. I wish we made a dent in our work and says, hey, don't do it or do it. Continue to do it. But we get silence.